Hey everyone, this is my breakdown of the Buffalo Bills 2024 to 2025 schedule. The schedule release was last night, Wednesday, May 15th, and as of recording, it's Thursday, May 16th. So basically, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go through the schedule and look at which parts I think are going to be more difficult than others, then go over the schedule as a whole, and then give a record prediction. So looking at the start of the schedule, we're going to go in like 4 to 5 game blocks. So looking at the beginning of the season, they got the Cardinals at home, at the Dolphins, at home against the Jaguars and at the Ravens, and then at the Texans. We'll include that one too. That's a pretty tough start to the season. Cardinals, hopefully we win that one, and same with the Jaguars at home, but at Dolphins, at Ravens, and at Texans, those are going to be difficult games, especially with our depleted wide receiver core. We did get a few additions. If we go to roster here, you can see, let's go to depth chart. We did make some adds. Obviously, we got Keon Coleman in the draft. Also, we got MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling, and Chase Claypool, along with Curtis Samuel. So we do have some veterans in our wide receiving core, but I'm still not feeling particularly confident about us going into the season with Khalil Shakir as the number one overall option. So let's go back to the schedule. So looking at our schedule, going into week 6, we are at the New York Jets, then we're home for the Titans, at the Seahawks, home for the Dolphins, at the Colts. This looks like an easier stretch these 5 weeks. At the Jets, that'll probably be a loss. At the Seahawks will also be tough, and at the Colts will probably be tough assuming Anthony Richardson plays. But I like our chances at home against the Titans and at home against the Dolphins. Basically, the trend here is I think we have a lot of tough games on the road so far. And then looking forward, we have a Week 11 game against the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday 11/17. Then we have our bye week in Week 12. I think Week 12 is a good time to have a bye week. I think that's an ideal time to get a rest, like kind of in the middle of the season, but a little bit beyond the halfway point. But the games that surround our bye week are just going to be absolutely massive. We have a home game against the Kansas City Chiefs, as I just mentioned, and then coming out of the bye week, we have a home game against the team that made the Super Bowl and lost last year in the San Francisco 49ers. So we're playing both teams that were in the Super Bowl in back-to-back weeks, essentially, because we have a bye in between. And then week 14, we're at the LA Rams. Week 15, we're at the Detroit Lions, and then we have our last 3 games of the season. At home against the Patriots, at home against the Jets, and at the Patriots. I think that's not too hard of a finish to the season, but my overall thoughts on this schedule is that it's pretty hard overall. I think the Bills, this is definitely going to set them up to probably be a wild card team rather than winning the division, and that was my thought before this even came out. So that just kind of confirmed what I thought going into the schedule release. But the schedule is definitely more difficult than it could have been if we had some of these games at home. That definitely would have made this a little bit easier on the Bills. But overall, I think the Bills can still make the playoffs. How far they go in the playoffs depends on how well some of these new pieces gel on offense and defense. So now I'm going to go through and do kind of which games I think will win, which games will lose, and then we'll do an overall record based on that. So starting in week 1, we're playing at home against the Cardinals. I think this will be a good start to the season. Obviously, the Cardinals did get their wide receiver in the draft, Marvin Harrison Jr., so he'll add a downfield threat to that offense, but I think we'll still get the win against the Cardinals. Week 2, we play on Thursday Night Football at the Miami Dolphins. Short week coming out of a week 1 win. I think that'll be a loss. I have us splitting with the Dolphins and the Jets. Week 3, we go back home. We play the Jaguars. The Jaguars are kind of a mid team. We're probably going to be around the same, maybe a little bit better than them, but I think playing them at home, I think we'll win this game. Then week 4, we go on the road to play the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are going to be a really good team again this year, I think. So I think this is going to be a tough game for us to win. The Ravens' D was really good, their defense, last year, and I expect them to be really good on both ends of the ball again this year. So I think that's going to be a loss. And then week 5 is the Stefon Diggs revenge game. We go on the road and play the Texans. We go on the road and play the Texans. And then in week 6, we play the Jets. So week 5 at the Texans, I think Stefon Diggs will have a successful revenge game. The Texans are going to be one of the toughest teams to beat in the AFC this year, in my opinion, with all the weapons they have on offense and their young improving defense. So I think that's going to be a loss. Again, I have a splitting with the Jets, so week 6, I'm going to say we lose that one too. So 3 straight losses puts us at 2-4 overall, but I think we'll start to pick it back up here. I think we're going to beat the Titans. Sorry, not the Texans. We just played them a couple weeks ago. I think we're going to beat the Titans at home. I don't expect the Titans to really be that great. They'll probably get 7 or 8 wins this year. So I think we'll get to 3-4 with a win over the Titans. At the Seahawks, I think that's another game we should win. That could be difficult because it's on the road, but I think we should be a better team than the Seahawks. I haven't seen their schedule yet, but I don't necessarily know if the Seahawks are going to be a playoff team. We'll have to see. And then I have us splitting with the Dolphins, so I have us picking up a win there. So those 3 wins in a row put us at 5-4 going into a game against the Colts. Now, initially when I looked at this game, I was thinking this would be a loss. But I'm feeling like I'm going to go a different way with this one. The Colts are still a young team. I think experience will play a factor here, even though we're going on the road. So I think we're going to beat the Colts, and that'll get us to 6-4. Going into a home game against the Chiefs are going to be an absolute juggernaut again this season. I don't expect that to change, and I think we're going to take an L here, unfortunately. As much as I'd like to say we beat the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs will get the better of us. So going into our bye week, we're 6-5, not too bad considering the schedule. And then coming out of the bye week, we have a home game against the 49ers. Again, that's going to be another top-tier team, just like they were last year when they made the Super Bowl. So I don't think we're going to end up winning that game either. So that puts us at 6-6 overall. And then on Sunday 12-8 in week 14, we go on the road and play the LA Rams. I think after a loss, a bye week, and then another loss, this will be a win for us. So that'll get us to 7-6, going on the road to play the Lions. And the Lions, again, they made the NFC Championship last year. I expect them to be incredible again this year. And the fact that that's on the road is the nail in the coffin for me in terms of if we're going to win the game. So I'm going to say we're going to lose to the Lions. So then going into week 16, we play the Patriots at home. The Patriots are a rebuilding team. I expect us to win both games against them. So that's week 16 and week 18. I think the road game will probably be closer, but I have us beating the Patriots in week 16. Then week 17, we have a home game against the Jets. This could potentially be important for playoff seeding. I think the Jets will probably win the division this year. That's the feeling I get. The Dolphins also might make the playoffs, so there could be 3 teams from the AFC East. But I think it's going to be the Jets and the Bills for sure, and then maybe the Dolphins. I'm going to say we win at home against the Jets. This could be a very close game, maybe high scoring. I could see like a 31-28 here. But I have us beating the Jets. And then in week 18, we play the Patriots on the road. I have us winning that one as well. So 3 straight wins to finish the season. So that puts my first look at the Bills' schedule and my first record prediction at 10-7. That's about where I'd expect us to be. You can see from the record in the top left that we went 11-6 last year. I think there's going to be a bit of a drop off. I could even see us going 9-8 or 8-9. I think really 9-8 or 10-7 is probably where we'll land based on this schedule. And I expect us to struggle a little bit more than we did last year without Stephon Diggs. But we still have weapons on offense. We got James Cook out of the backfield. We have Dalton Kincaid. And we have obviously Khalil Shakir and the other wide receivers. So we still have weapons. It'll just be seeing how well they work together. And so those are my initial thoughts on the Bills' schedule. 10-7 is my original, my first record prediction. I will do a record prediction later in the summer, probably around July, maybe even August, to tell you how I think the Bills are going to do at that point. But 10-7 is where I have them right now. And credit to the CBS Sports app. That's what I'm using for all of these games. If you haven't gotten the app, I'm not sponsored by CBS Sports, but I just have to say it's my favorite sports app. Gives you great details on every game. It's been helpful for the NBA and NHL playoffs for the stats on that. And I also will be posting shorts on the NBA and NHL playoffs. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, make sure to check those out. And thank you guys so much for watching this video. And if you liked it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you'd like to see more NFL content, or if you're into the NBA or NHL. I will also be doing stuff on the Olympics come June and July. So keep an eye out for that. And with that, Martin out. Thanks again.